Tyson Bree's documentary on genetics.
Hi, today we're going to be talking about who founded genetics, what is genetics, what are chromosomes and how do they relate to genetics, what are features of inheritance, what is DNA and how do they relate to genetics, and what is genotype and phenotype, and how do they relate to genetics.
For this video, we'll be talking about who founded genetics and the basics to what genetics is. In the human body, there are billions of cells. In the middle of the cell is the control centre, called the nucleus. Inside each nucleus, there are minuscule pieces that hold the recipe for how our body works and what our body looks like. These are called genes, in which the study of characteristics. These genes are located along the strands of DNA, which are located inside your chromosomes. These chromosomes are found inside the nucleus of your cells. In 1856, Gregor Mendel, an Austrian monk who taught science, carried out numerous experiments. These experiments consisted of how characteristics were inherited and how they would change over generations. To carry out these experiments, Mendel used garden peas and crossbred these peas with traits of seeds with yellow or green, seeds wrinkled or round, pods that were smooth or constricted, and stems that were long or short. This is why Gregor Mendel was known as the father of genetics.
Features of inheritance are characteristics that individuals inherit from their parents. People inherit one set of chromosomes, 23 each from the father and mother. The mother carries the X chromosome, which represents female sex. However, the father can carry either X or Y chromosomes. The father's chromosomes determine the sex of the baby. People inherit features from their parents such as eye colour, hair colour, body structure and skin tone. For example, if the mother has brown eyes and the father has blue eyes, the colour of the baby is determined depending on which colour is either dominant or recessive. Punnett squares are diagrams that are used to predict the combinations of genes. They also show the possibility for having a certain gene inherited from one of the parents. They are named after an English geneticist called Reginald Punnett. He developed the Punnett square to show the number of genetic combinations and explain genetics by using the Punnett squares. They consist of dominant and recessive genes. If the allele is dominant, it will show. However, if it is recessive, it will not show. Heterozygous means two alleles are different from each other for one gene, and homozygous is when two alleles are identical for one gene.
We will now move on to talk about genotype and phenotype and what they are. Each organism that is being crossed contains two genes, one from the female and one from the male. The different combinations of the parent's genes are known as genotypes. In this case, it is pea pods. As seen here, the possible genotypes are a capital G and a capital G, meaning that it is dominant, and homozygous, meaning the same alleles. The second combination is a capital G and a lowercase g, meaning it is also dominant but heterozygous, meaning the alleles are different. The last combination is lowercase g and g, meaning that it is recessive and homozygous because they are both the same. Phenotype is the appearance produced by the genotype. For example, there are two phenotypes for green and yellow pea pods. If the offspring is a capital G and a lowercase g, or a capital G and a capital G, this is dominant, meaning the phenotype is green pea pods. If it is a lowercase g and a lowercase g, which gives a phenotype of yellow pea pods.
Overall, in this video of genetics, we have talked about Who founded genetics? What is genetics? How experiments were carried out through Punnett squares? What are Punnett squares? What are features of inheritance? What genotype and phenotype are? What is DNA? And how these are all related to genetics. Well, that's all for today. I hope you've learned something new from Tess and Bree's documentary on genetics. We will see you next time.